Lead code number 36, valid Sudoku. Okay. Uh, in this problem, we are asked, given a board, and we are asked whether this is a valid Sudoku, right? A valid Sudoku must have unique number on all of its row, right? So all rows should not have any repeating numbers. So 6, if it is here, then it cannot contain on any of this row, right? Also not in the column, also not in this box. Okay, so what we can do is we can record what is in the row and what is in column and what is in box, right? This box, to figure out whether it is valid or not. Okay, so let's have rows equals to set for I in range, and we know that size of a board is n equals to length of board. Okay, in range n, right? So row is there, so calls equals to set for I in range n, okay, row column and boxes equals to same thing, right? Set for I in range n, okay. So I want to go and loop through each and every row and column in this board and use if it is the valid number. So we are given this is a string, right? So if it is valid, then add it to the row and column that we saw. And if that number already exists in the row or column or box, then we will return false. Okay. So let's say valid valids are uh, str of I for I in range, it need to be from 1 to 9, right? So 1 to 9, range 1 comma 10, right? So we will have a string valid numbers, right? Uh, and we can also do set, right? Because it's easier. Lookup time for set is O of 1, right? For R in range n, for C in range n, right? Uh, range and column, if board at row comma column equals to m dot, right? If it is dot, which is this value, if it is dot, then what we can do is continue, continue, right? If it is not, then it must be one of the number, right? If board at row comma c not in valid, then return false, right? So you provide some value which is not in the valid range. So 1 to 9, right, is not in the valid range. We know that this is a valid range, right? Now what we can do is, so let's say value equals to board at a row comma column, right? If value in rows of row, right? If this value already exists in row of this current row, then there exists already exists the number in the same row. That means what do we have to do? Return false. Okay, same thing, right? If value in calls of C, then what do you do? Return false. If value in boxex, right? But I need to find a box, right? So box will be 3 times row divided by 3 plus uh, call by 3. Okay, so this will be box, and if it is in the box, then again return false. Now we know that the value doesn't exist in the row, doesn't exist in the column, doesn't exist in the boxes. Now what we have to do is add this value in the respective rows and column. So rows of row dot add, right? Add value, value, same for column and false, C, and boxex boxes. Okay, so after all of this return, we know that we went through the whole array and it is valid. So I can do run and it's valid. Okay,